this morning we're joined by Parliamentary Advocacy Network National Public Secretary, Dominic Alancha. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me and good morning.
Mr. Alancha, first of all, I think the first question will be to ask you to share your thoughts with us regarding budget padding. This is not the first time that we're hearing about budget padding. It's something that has been recurrent in past administrations. So does this come as a surprise to you?
Well, this does not really come out as a surprise to me because if you look at the National Assembly, I think the issue of budget padding actually came to public glare in the 8th Assembly. You know, when Dogara was the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the Chairman of Appropriation Committee, Honorable Abdul raised the issue of budget padding. And what I ordinarily expect us to do at that time as members of civil society is to actually wake up and interrogate that issues of budget padding, because you see, that is where Nigerians are a bit unchanged. Nigerians are a bit unchanged because the responsibility of the National Assembly is actually to perform oversight, you know, appropriate. And it is as a result of that appropriation that they padded the budget, you know, to suit their own personal interest, to enrich themselves and all of that. So for me, it doesn't really come to me as a surprise. But there is need for Nigerians to really, really wake up and interrogate this issue. This is not an issue that will just be swept under the carpet. As parliamentary advocates, we are going to ensure that we pushed it out there so that Nigerians will really know the kind of leaders they elected to represent them at the National Assembly. Leaders that will come, and not, push the interests of Nigerians, issues that will bring about the development of Nigerians, but their own personal development, personal aggrandizement. I think it is unacceptable. Nigerians should wake up. It's unheard of. An individual padding the budget of set of individuals. You can see that some of the leadership of the National Assembly are already coming out to defend it. And that is to tell you that it's a cohort, it's a conspiracy against the Nigerian people. They are coming out to say, no, this doesn't happen. I had the other day, the chairman of the Finance Committee, Senator Sani Musa, coming out to say that nothing like that happened. How can you convince Nigerians that nothing like that happened? And recall that the budget, when it was sent to National Assembly, there were issues. Some were saying it was an empty box. Some were saying that they don't even have access to the budget. So in a democracy, this cannot be allowed to continue to happen. So we really, 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 really need to interrogate these issues. Nigerians need to wake up to interrogate this issue and see the end of this so that padding can be, can be nipped on the bud. Padding can be buried once and for all. This is one of the things that we must wake up at this time. We cannot allow individuals to pad the budget to the tune of 4 trillion naira.
Deji, when you say that we need to investigate, when you say that we need to interrogate, who do you want to investigate and interrogate? Can the House investigate itself? Do you trust the House to be able to conduct a panel to investigate itself and, bring out an honest report?
Well, advocacy group, need to come out. We have the freedom of information. Advocacy group need to come out because these people do not have integrity. Nigerians do not trust them. You can hear the response of Akpabio that this could have been done when it was hospitalized. Who does that? In a safe society where the system is functioning, where the system is working, how can you say that the budget was padded when you were in? That is an admittance already in itself. How can you say that the budget could have likely been padded when you were in the hospital, when you were hospitalized? So we do not trust them to do that. The presidency on their own part can set up a committee to interrogate the issue of budget padding. to interrogate that issue, for them to come out and be defending it, that the budget was not padded or something like that, I think it doesn't make sense. So there is need for us, members of civil society, as National Assembly, parliamentary advocates group, to begin to touchlight that area and then bring out, some of the issues that has been raised. For example, the northern senators are also saying that the budget, the 2024 budget is lopsided. In other words, the North has been shortchanged in that aspect. Could it be because the North has been shortchanged, or they were not carried along? That is why they are bringing out all these issues. These are issues we really, really need to interrogate. And without that, and people can also go to court. I'm thinking of avenues where we can exploit the judiciary in unveiling some of these issues, so that Nigerians will really know what is happening. But bottom line is that the kind of leaders we have in National Assembly are not leaders we can trust. They cannot be trusted, and we must, do something about it.
All right, Mr. Lancha, I just want to quickly read a tweet that was made by Mr. Bayo Onanuga. And this tweet, I'd like you to react to it in line with this, because you have said that Nigerians need to really react. But let's hear your thought. He did make this statement in a tweet. He said, and I quote, contrary to the strange view expressed by Senator Ningi, there was no way the Senate could have debated and passed a 25 trillion naira budget that was not presented to the National Assembly. So he's saying that it wasn't 25 trillion naira that was presented to the Assembly. And then he made a very, very critical statement in which many Nigerians are wondering, how possible is this? All right. He did say, I beg your pardon, I'm trying to ensure that I look for that tweet. He said, in the spirit of democracy, which allows give and take, President Tinubu didn't withhold his assent to the appropriation bill as passed by the National Assembly. We want to stress that if the budget figure was increased and made to be different from what the executive proposed, it was the National Assembly that jacked it up in exercise of its power of appropriation. What do you have to say about this?
Well, that is a confirmation that 2024 budget was actually padded. Two things there that are take away from me. Number one, in the spirit of give and take. Number two, it is the National Assembly that jacked it up. That is the pardon we are talking about. Pardon is to add what was not there, or to bring fictitious figures that was not there. That is the pardon. So it's alluding to the fact that really the budget was padded. And I think it is a shame that we are talking about, budget padding at this material time. And those budget padding, like you can hear, there was no budget, a project attached to it. It was a fictitious thing. It is done with the intention of defrauding Nigerians. Nigerians should wake up. Members of civil society should wake up. Patriotic Nigerians should wake up and see how we can nip this padding we can nip it on board. So it is unacceptable. So Bayo Onanuga is confirming to Nigerians that the budget was actually padded, and they are aware of it. That is why he said, in the spirit of give and take, Mr. President did not withhold assent. I mean, he can't fool us, please.
Okay. We have a Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, that's Abubakar Atiku Bagudu. What would you say his role is in ensuring that we don't see a repetition of conversations like this? And what can we do to prevent these from being a cycle that reoccurs every other time? Because it seems that with every new administration or every new year, we're hearing about allegations of budget padding. It's getting quite exhausting. So what can we do to ensure that these do not become, it's become the norm now, but that we stop it from being the norm?
Yeah, to stopping it from being a norm is what I'm saying, that we need to really wake up and, ensure that we touchlight our budget. To be honest with you, I must say this at this material time. I have my reservations when Bagudu was appointed the Minister of Budget and National Planning. These are people that kill the economy. If you look at his history from the days of Abacha, you could understand that he was not free from corruption allegations and all of that. And these are people you are bringing to, to man our economy, to be in charge of. You cannot give a lion goats to keep for you. He will eat it all. So it's unfortunate that somebody like Atiku Bagudu is a minister of national planning, where you carry the resources of Nigeria and put in their hands to oversee, to legislate, to allocate, and all of that. They will do it the way they want. And, Nigerians, we must wake up. If we really want to stop these things, it is citizens' actions that will bring about, an end to this budget padding. If Nigerians will wake up today and take this issue seriously and protest and occupy National Assembly so that the truth can be known, subsequent, budget will not, we will not be hearing these kind of stories. So citizens should wake up. It is time for us to take our destiny in our hands by ensuring that, these resources are equitably distributed and not distributed into the pocket of who is who, or who is some of these people, that the so-called leaders, that we have in our country. It is unacceptable. So citizens should wake up. If we really want to nip it on board, if we really want to see the end to budget padding, we have to wake up. It is citizens' actions, that I'm calling for to ensure that we nip this budget padding to the bud.
Mr. Lancha, I mean, you've mentioned that citizens need to wake up. Is it the same citizens that had cried foul when they saw in the budget about how much was allocated for a yacht? And they said there's no such thing as a presidential yacht, but then again, they let it slide. The same people you say should wake up did also see about how much, about 1.5 or so trillion naira that was allocated to the office of the First Lady, and they let it slide and nothing happened. How certain are you that they would not let this one slide? Because as it is, it's like it's already been approved.
Honestly speaking, this government is a listening government. President Bola Tinubu is someone that listens. If you recall, during the yacht issues, they responded and they clarified Nigerians. The yacht is not the presidential, it's not something that belongs, exclusively belongs to the president. It's just a name that was given to the yacht. It's something that belongs to the Nigerian Navy, but they call it presidential yacht. It's just like when you go to, 5-star hotel and they tell you presidential suite. Presidential suit does not exclusively belong to the president. If you have the resources to, to occupy that suit, you can occupy it. But you see, I'm not defending the government. What I'm only calling on is that citizens, we need to wake up to engage. We need to up our participation. We need to demand for accountability from our leaders. We have leaders who are elected to represent us. We need to hold them to account for, our resources within their disposal that they are allocating or appropriating or legislating over. We need to really wake up and hold them.
Just to clarify, Mr. Lancha, you're saying that you believe that this current administration has all that it takes to be able to nip this situation in the bud, to be able to conduct sufficient investigation and make people answer, make those who need to answer the law. Is that what you're saying?
Please, can you come again?
Are you saying that you have, okay, I guess I'll just ask you directly. What are your thoughts on this administration's ability to investigate this allegation properly? I mean, they've come out to deny, but do you have confidence in the leadership of President Bola Tinubu and his administration that they would actually take into consideration all that has been said and actually do some investigation, seeing as they've already come out to deny it?
I have 100% confidence on the administration of President Bola Tinubu, to fight corruption, because this is corruption. You can see, previously, the allegations that were raised about, corruption, against officials. We saw the actions he took. He suspended the Minister of Humanitarian, Beta Edu, who legislates, substantial amount of resources to ourselves, to our pocket. And then we saw the suspension just recently, rural electrification, DG, and some executive directors were suspended. These are things that that investigation unveils, and at the end of their investigation, they suspended.
No, so I just want to permit me to butt in. Permit me to butt in. Mr. Lansha,
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will set up a committee to investigate.
Permit me to interject at this point, because at the start of this conversation, and for the most part of this conversation, you've expressed displeasure as to how this affair has been run. You of course believe that the budget was padded and that you have asked Nigerians to stand up and demand for their right. Will Nigerians need to stand up to demand for their right if the government and if this administration does what it needs to do and conduct an investigation? This is the administration that already has released a statement saying that the allegations are false. I mean, you're saying on the one hand, Nigerians need to stand up and fight for their rights, but in the same breath, you're also saying that you believe that this administration has what it takes to be able to conduct an adequate investigation. I don't know. Help me understand.
Now, if you talk to people on the street, in the past, they will tell you that there is no need for their action because government will not do anything. No. What I'm saying is that we need to wake up. It is as a result of our, quest for demanding for accountability that will push the government to do the needful. And I'm saying that I have confidence on the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because he's a listening president. He's someone that wants to listen to what Nigerians are saying. He's someone that wants to listen to the issues that are out there. And I have confidence that if Nigerians will wake up to demand for accountability, if Nigerians will wake up to demand for investigation into this budget padding of 4 trillion naira, the president will give in and ensure that there is a thorough investigation into it. Perhaps that budget was padded without his knowledge. You can hear Bayo Onanuga saying that in the spirit of give and take. What do you mean by the spirit of good give and take? What do you mean by them jacking it up? Is it their responsibility to jack it up? It's not their responsibility to jack it up. It is the responsibility, it's exclusive responsibility of the executive. And that is why we have a Minister of Budget and National Planning who will send to National Assembly for them to look into it and then appropriate accordingly. So Nigerians should have confidence that if they wake up,
Mr. Lansha, thank you. We want to thank you so much. We want to thank you so much.
We do not wake up.
Thank you for your point, Mr. Lansha. Thank you.
I'm saying that Nigerians should be confident that if they wake up to demand, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do the needful.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Dominic Lansha. We look forward to have you again. Hopefully, we do know that this is an unfolding story, it's a developing story, and possibly today, we look forward to get a response from the National Assembly, and we know that you have been covering National Assembly. You will be able to join us again very soon. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
All right. Let's move on now very quickly and tell you that the special advisor to Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, says the president will launch the student loan scheme on Thursday, March 14, 2024. That sounds like pretty much good news. Well, on June 12, 2023, if you recall, Tinubu signed the Access to Higher Education Act 2023 into law to enable indigent students to access interest-free loans for their educational pursuits in any Nigerian tertiary institution. The move, according to the presidency, is a fulfillment of one of his campaign promises to liberalize funding of education. So this seems to come at a good time when the economy isn't looking too good.
We just have to wait till the 14th of March because this is not the first time.
I'm talking too soon, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's just wait until it's actually implemented because there are promises of it being implemented in January, nothing happened. February, nothing happened, and now we're in March, right? Yeah. So it's been a long time coming. Let's wait. I don't want to count my eggs, or before they actually being laid.
I agree with you. Listen, I accept what you've said because we talked about this last week that we have to be very careful whatever press release we see or hear. And a lot of people, I mean, with due respect to the special advisor to the president, many have started to see that the words that come out from that aspect or from them, you cannot hold it, hook, line, and sinker. You just have to ensure that, is it true or not? You have to wait till it happens.
There's an African proverb. I don't know.
I agree.
I believe it's a Nigerian proverb that says that there are some people that when they greet you good morning, you have to open the window to check to see is it really morning. And I hope that our presidency hasn't become.
We'd actually wait.
We have to wait to see exactly
what happens to it.
Whether these promises will materialize.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, it's been 1 hour of stories and, of course, conversations. Let's quickly bring you a recap of what we've discussed so far this hour as we look forward to the second hour with a lot to discuss in focus. Exchange of words at Wigwe's burial ceremony. We did talk about that. Olive, I saw you had that conversation
Absolutely,
as well.
I did.
I mean, it's very sad.
Presidency hits back at Senate over additional budget. Of course, Bayo Onanuga has denied. That's the presidency have denied. And President Tinubu said to launch students' loan scheme on Thursday. Fingers crossed. Let's see whether this actually manifests. But let's share what's coming up next on Breakfast Central.
We'll bring to you the newspaper front pages, which kicks off now. You can be part of it, and you can call in as well. And concerning the Jakwa, federal government bans leave of absence for health workers. Nobody will be allowed to take leave of absence anymore. Olive, can you beat that?
I can't.
We'll talk about that in a moment.